Hi everyone, my name is Riley, and welcome back to the books that I read this month. Let's grab our Diet Coke and get started. So, the first book that I read this month is Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. This book was very interesting to me in that it has aspects. I made a weird sound. Anyway, this book is about two best friends who end up making a video game together and the adventures that go with running a business with someone that you're really close with and that you have all this history with, and how their lives morph and change over time. You get about 2/3 of the way, and then it gets really sad. There's something that happens in this book that no one could expect. I think it also speaks to how modern this book is. This was written in 2022, which makes it feel very fresh and an easy read. I rated this book a 4 out of 5 stars. I only gave it 4 instead of 5 stars because that last section of the book was very sad, and I felt like, while obviously it was used to move the plot along, why'd they have to do that to one of my favorite characters? And it kind of just goes into like a spiral of sadness and doesn't end on the highest mark, which obviously not every book is going to do that, but for me, it's one of the things that I enjoy about books is that it all gets wrapped up in a nice bow and that you get to carry about your day. You're not like, man, I feel bad for those characters. So 4 stars for Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. The next book I read was Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. I've actually never read this book prior to this read. Obviously, everyone has a perception of Frankenstein, but what I found really interesting is that it's not at all really similar to what we see in modern media in terms of like, it's alive, and like the bolts in the neck and all of that. It was much more like regretful, talks about deeper meanings, and our Frankenstein's monster, blah, blah, blah. The monster that's created by Victor Frankenstein has very deep thoughts and can speak very eloquently. Eventually, we find that out in how he was able to figure out how to do that inside this book. In the end, like, wow, what I thought happened was so different than what I just read. So I gave this 3 stars in the aspect that it was a good read. It is a little long in terms of like, I don't need a play by play of every single day in which you are suffering. Overall, a good story. An average book gets a 3 out of 5 stars. Next up, we had The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. I ended up giving this a 5 out of 5 stars. This was my first ever book by her. I flew through this. I finished at least 20% within the first sitting. We have this story about a family who hires a maid and the dynamics between the family and said maid, and both sides have backstories and histories that the other doesn't know about. I really enjoyed this, and I'm looking forward to watching the movie as well. 5 stars for The Housemaid. Lastly, I wanted to end this off with the book that I'm reading right now. I was hoping to finish it by the end of this month, but it's not really going so well for me. I can't tell if I'm hitting a slump or if school's just getting a lot or if this book isn't to my taste. We have Buckeye by Patrick Ryan. So far, I've gotten not even 40 pages in yet, and it's currently placed in the midst of World War II in Ohio, and we're looking through the life of Cal. I'm excited to see where this goes, but you'll have to find out what I think of it next month. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you later.